Barak Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Bracha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Pay Attention to Detail. Now, pretty much this is something that, a thought that came into mind. I was taking my mom to go get some, take care of some things that she had to take care of. And, she likes listening to her little salsa music. So I got this station that I put it on for her. And as she was listening to the music, there was one song in particular that came up by an individual by the name of Oscar de Leon. He's an old-time salsa singer. And pretty much the name of the song is called Detalles, which means details. And it got me to, when I'm listening, listen to this song. And pretty much he was speaking about, paying attention. It's a song exalting women. But pretty much I looked at it in the form of being wisdom instead of being an actual woman. And pretty much he was saying, to pay attention to the woman, to do this and do that. Treat her as if she was your mother, and she gave you the purity of her womb and so on and so forth, which, when it comes to these women, you can't really say that. But when it comes to wisdom, it's true, because wisdom births children, like Yahushua said, wisdom is justified of her children. So as I'm listening to the song, I'm thinking about, how, because really, like, when you're in the world, or when you're dealing with a woman, and whether in the world or in the truth, and after a while you don't really pay her as much attention, because when you first get with a woman, it's exciting. You're at least back in the days, you would be on the phone for hours talking to her. Couldn't wait to see her again. Whisper sweet nothings to her and talk to her, and just pretty much, go through that whole routine. And then after a while, when you've been together for a while, that kind of fades away, and then neglect starts to come in and settle in. And after a while, these women, if you don't pay them attention, they either go out and cheat or they leave. And that's how wisdom is. Wisdom is a woman, but wisdom is a pure woman. And you have to pay attention to details, because if not, she'll leave. Because, it's like a relationship between a man and a woman. So what I was getting from the song is pretty much, pay attention to the details and do the things that you used to do before. So we're going to get into, some of the lyrics and, take it. Now, I had to go to Google Translate, and Google Translate is not the greatest, Google Translate is not the greatest translator, because it doesn't translate every word. So I'm going to have to kind of, fill in certain places where it went off on. But I just typed in the phrase, pay attention to detail. So it says, what is attention to detail? Attention to detail is the ability to focus on all areas of a project or task, no matter how small. People with excellent attention to detail are thorough in reviewing their work. As a result, the work is generally more accurate and free of errors. And if just scripture just came to mind. I believe that's Matthew chapter 6. Yep, Matthew 6 and 22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. And that's why Yahushua said you can't serve the Most High and Mammon, because everything you do you have to exert a certain amount of energy to it. And your full attention is placed upon wherever your heart may be. This is why the scriptures say you shall serve the Lord your power with all your heart, mind, and soul, because he comes first. He takes precedence over everything else. And when you exert energy into something and pour your whole heart into something, it takes away from other things, which brings about neglect, and that's why it says the light of the body is the eye. If therefore the eye be single, meaning if your eye is just focused on one thing, meaning your brain, your mind, your spirit, thy whole body shall be full of light. Why? Because you're cultivating that road and that way to allow this light to enter, and you're building, you're fortifying, you're stabilizing, and that's how wisdom is. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. It's like a workout. You get out of it what you put into it, and that's the truth. All right. So, matter of fact, let me go here because there's more. It says, if thine eye be evil, meaning your mind is everywhere. You're not focused. You're lukewarm. You're not focused. Your energy is going in somewhere else. It says thy whole body shall be full of darkness. Why? Because you're not going to. Matter of fact, another precept just came to mind. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. I think that's the 41st chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Just bear with me. Let's try 38. Yeah, beautiful. Barakateh Halwa Shemel Shai. All right, so this is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 38:23. When the dead is at rest, I'm sorry, that's not it. 24. The wisdom of a learnt man cometh by opportunity of what? Leisure. Now, what is leisure? Leisure is reading time, like a ledger, which is to read. In Spanish is leer. Leer in Spanish is to read. So the time of leisure is how you become wise. Leisure is not time to kick back, relax, and chill. Leisure is time for your studies, for looking things up, for getting involved, so that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai can sup with us and show us his most intimate thoughts, his most intimate feelings, which comes by way of studying, comes by way of leisure and reading and meditating, It says, and he that had little business shall become wise, and I believe the word skull, SCHOL from Scholar means leisure, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked it up in a while, but I believe that's what it means. I have my book somewhere. I could look it up, but, I believe that's what it means. It says, how can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow? Right. So if you're constantly working, whether you're working on a job, whether you're constantly trying to work on a woman, trying to please her, trying to, do what you got to do for her, but then everything else gets neglected, and you get the rest. You can read the rest of it, but the main point is the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise, because your bigger portion of your time and business is spent on the Lord's business. Did not Yahweh Shai said, I be about my Father's business? So it says, Matthew 6:23, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Right, because when we come into the truth, it's a great light that's shining. But if one neglects it and starts to put their cares into something else, then that light starts to become dimmer and dimmer until it's total darkness. It says, then that's why Yahweh Shai also went on to say, it says, if therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You could not serve the Most High and mammon. You always have to, it has to be a choice. Either you're going to give your whole heart, mind, and soul to the Lord. That doesn't mean, well, I'm going to give my whole heart, mind, and soul to the Lord, so I'm just going to sit in the corner. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to work. No. But you know that the majority of your energy that you exert is on the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, so that he can open up these mysteries to you. So let's get to some of these, like I said, Oscar de Leon Detalles, which is details. Now, this is the song here. These are the lyrics. And this is the title of it, and then it goes on and on and on, right? So it says, she lives with you, she is your friend. Now, he's speaking about an actual woman, but we're looking at it as what? As wisdom. Because when you get a woman, right, you don't just walk down the street and all of a sudden you with that woman. You will it, or you wish it in your mind, and all of a sudden y'all get together and that's it. Y'all. Next thing you know, a day later, you got all kind of children. You're living in an apartment, a home, or whatever. No, it takes time. You see her, you like her. There's an attraction there. You approach her, you talk to her, or you drop little subtle hints, or you flirt a little bit to see what kind of vibes you get back from her. And eventually, after a while, you kick it with her, talk to her, whatever the case may be. Y'all get to know each other, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, she's your woman. Well, that's the same with wisdom. Wisdom, when a man doesn't know about wisdom, she's a stranger, like a woman that's walking down the street that is strange, right? So she lives with you. So now you got to the point where y'all met, y'all got together. She lives with you. She is your friend. She is your woman. She is your wife, and she is your lover. She is quite a faithful body. Like I said, keep in mind, I'm looking at it from the point of view of wisdom, because wisdom is faithful. Wisdom is the most faithful woman that you're ever going to encounter or meet. There's not a more faithful woman than wisdom. Don't cause her, see, it says him, supposed to be, don't cause her anguish. Don't make her suffer. Think that at some point your mother could be, or in other words, that could have been your mother. In other words, your mother's a woman, your sister's a woman, so on and so forth. So you would want, whatever care you would want for them to receive, you would want that woman to receive, But keep in mind, keep it in the perspective of wisdom. It says, because she is a woman and deserves respect, and wisdom does deserve respect. The majority of these women out here, hate to say it, but they don't deserve respect. But you do have some sisters that carry and conduct themselves a certain way, very respectable. It says, and she gave you the purity of her womb. In other words, she shared with you her most intimate self. Because there's no more intimacy than when a man and a woman get together and have sex and procreate children. That is the most intimate. This is why in most cases, if the woman ain't a super slut, if she happens to be somewhere or whatever the case may be, and she happens to be exposed, first thing she does is cover herself up, if she has any virtue about her, because she's not trying to show all her goodies to anybody else except for her husband. All right. So this is the intimacy. This is why the Lord sups with us and shows us his most intimate. That's why he says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And the servants, the prophets, are given a direct signal from the Most High to be addicted, to be compelled, to be drawn to the truth, even at times when they may not want to do it. Like Jeremiah. He said, Lord, you lied to me. I ain't going to make no more mention of you. I'm out of here. The hell with this. But what happened? The word was burning inside of him, to where even if he didn't want to be a prophet, and even if he didn't want to teach anymore, the word was bubbling up in him, and he couldn't contain it. He had to let it out. That's a desire and a signal that comes directly from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, which is beautiful, you know? Because no worse feeling than when you feel like the spirit is leaving you. You know, you feel destitute. You feel forsaken. You know, that's terrible. But when you get those inspirations and get drawn by the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and, you know, the ability to have that understanding of this truth, of this knowledge, to be able to teach others, that's one of the greatest feelings ever. You know, it's better than sex, it's better than eating food, it's better than anything else. It says, and you have to be aware of the details, see? So in other words, what I looked at it was, when I heard that part, you know, which goes into the hook, I was like thinking it on the level of pay attention to the details. So take the care and show the effort and show the same enthusiasms as when you first met the woman, as when everything was so exciting and so thrilling, you know. Or think about when you first came into the truth, how excited we were, you know, how want to try to get everything possible, try to grab everything possible to try to devour it. You know, that diligence, that vehemency, that ardor, you know. So it says, let's go, take it out. You know, this way, vamos, sácala. You know, in other words, take her out. Take her to the movies. And it says buy her a bouquet of flowers. Take a bath together with her. Take her food to bed, you know, with much tenderness. Talk to her, but very sweetly. Give her love because she deserves. She likes that you treat her like this. Remember when they were dating, you took them to the cocktail. You invited her to eat. You took her out to dance. You're only woman. Now you can't change the way you are. Every time you called her and asked for her many times, you annoyed her for no reason. Now you can't change the way you are. Do not forget that she has given you everything. Take her to the cinema. Buy her a bouquet of flowers. Take a bath together with her. Take her food to bed with much tenderness. So on and so forth, right? And this pretty much keeps repeating the same thing. Yeah, so pretty much is going into the main purpose of it. So in essence, don't forget how it was when you first met. That excitement, that joy, that fire and desire, that passion, you know? Pay attention to detail. Just like you did, or like we did when we first came into the truth, into the knowledge. Let's see, the brother put etymology detail from Detelier, cut in pieces, right? That's why when you look up the phrase, pay attention to detail, is usually, man, that accent comes out. Usually, man, it's usually associated. It's usually associated with a magnifying glass, because a magnify. I got to get it together, Israel. I got to get it together, man. Shit, man. Them doves are taking over, man. My words ain't coming out right. Salakia. I have to get that out. Maybe if I get it out, maybe I could speak properly. But usually with a magnifying glass that enlarges everything, you're able to see every detail, every nook and cranny, you know? And that's why when you type in pay attention to detail, you go to images, it'll show you like magnifying glasses. So because of the main purpose of paying attention to detail is not leaving anything out, no matter how big or how small it may be. like it says in Sirach chapter, what is that, 5? And 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Okay? So like I haven't, got to you brothers' scriptures. I know y'all putting some beautiful precepts up. But yeah, so pretty much that's a part of paying attention to detail. So I have wrote some precepts down. Hopefully, we can get into it. I mean, if you want to go, this is pretty much the main point, but if you want to go to it and read it for yourself, you could just type in detalles, which is DETALLES, and then just go to lyrics, or you could put Oscar de Leon if you want, go to lyrics, and you could look up the lyrics and put them on the Google Translate. Like I said, it's going to say him and he and it, but it's really talking about her and she. All right, so, yo, my dude, what are you talking about? We going to war. What you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? We talking about wisdom. What are you talking about? All right, so, Jake, boy. So let's go to the book of Baruch. Let's start off there real quick. Like I said, that's that's the thought and idea that came to mind when I heard the song. And I heard him singing. I looked at it, instead of just being a woman, I looked at it as when you first get into the relationship. This is how we have to be, with wisdom. So this is Baruch chapter 4 and verse. We're going straight to the point. 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, so being returned, converted, brought back, seek him 10 times more. You see? So we have to have that fervent ardor, this fervent zeal, to seek the Lord, and we have to wait for the goodness that he gives to us. Let's go from there to the book of Ecclesiasticus. Back to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 4, which I believe a brother put that in there. I'm not sure what verse they put, but let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, start at 16. It says, if a man commit himself unto her, what do you do when you're dealing with a woman? In most cases, you make a commitment. You commit to her when you propose. Now propositions today and commitments today do not mean the same things that they used to, because commitments today, proposals, marriage today equals money for the state, for the woman, and equals sad, hard times for the man. But in the ancient times, when a man would get with a woman, that was supposed to be a life union between that man, that woman, and if he had other women, same thing. I don't know where this sweet, moist muffin, one wife spirit is coming from on the IUIC. That is not scriptural. The only time you should have one wife, and you don't necessarily have to have one wife, is if you're a bishop or a deacon, because a bishop and a deacon had very grave responsibilities, to where one woman would be sufficient because they had a heavy workload to deal with. They weren't able to deal with other women, because of that. Because that office required a lot of time and patience and paying attention to detail, So it said if a man commit himself unto her, meaning you made that commitment by what? By taking your time, investing your time into her, which is wisdom. He shall inherit her, right? Because even with a woman, most times, even though women technically are supposed to chase the man, but most times a man invests his time to get with a woman, throwing subtle hints or flirting with her, whatever the case may be, or buy her flowers, to what? To get with the woman. So that's the same thing. We have to exert that same energy with wisdom. To what? To inherit wisdom. It says, and his generation shall hold her in possession. And the key is finding wisdom, getting wisdom, committing to wisdom, and keeping wisdom, because that is the way to salvation. These are the fruits of immortality. For at the first you will walk with him by crooked ways. Right? You have a woman, that you might really be into her, or you might really like her, but she's playing hard to get. She's playing hard to get, and you have to kind of jump through hula hoops a little bit, not too much, because if she resists too much, you move on to the next one. But, she might play a little hard to get, which is a challenge. So those are the crooked ways, and that's with wisdom. You get a little confused, a little, but eventually, if you stay on that path, what happens? You get the benefit. It says, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline. Because ultimately, in order to live with wisdom, there has to be a what they call a rite of passage, or a pathway that consists of discipline. Because coming from this world, most of us are not disciplined like that. We had to learn discipline. It says, until she may trust his soul. And once she trusts his soul and try him by her laws, then will she return the straight way unto him. Right. Now, the hula hoops you had to jump through, you don't have to jump through them anymore. And now those hula hoops that you jump through are used as life experiences to maneuver on this road, because you remember back, the toil and the labor you had to go through in order to get this woman wisdom, and comfort him, you see, and show him her secrets. And this is the point right here. And those secrets are being shown to him by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who sups with that individual to show what? Their innermost intimate thoughts and feelings. This is why Yahushua told the disciples, I don't call you servants anymore, but I call you friends, for a friend knoweth not what his master doeth. You see? It says, but if he go wrong, she will forsake him. Just like in the song. Pretty much. I mean, he didn't go in that much into detail in the song called Detail, which he should have. But the point is that pay attention to detail and show that same ardor, that same devotion that you did when you first met that woman that's dealing with wisdom, and give him over to his own ruin, right? Because that, you could either have benefit from wisdom or be ruined by it. It tells you that in the 6th chapter, she'll lie upon him like a heavy weight of burden, something like that, and he'll cast her off ere it be long. So let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, in the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Chapter 7 and verse 28. It says, for the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. And when you get with a woman, what happens? Eventually you dwell together. Right? So when you get with wisdom, you become a union, a one. And the spiritual sex act is when your mind is thinking about wisdom, and she's feeding you, those pleasurable thoughts. It says, for she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of the stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it. So now let's go from there to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8. And this is why wisdom changes our countenance. Sometimes you might be driving or walking or whatever the case may be, and somebody might be looking at you, and in your mind is like, why this person keeps staring at me? But you don't understand that it's the aura that's around brothers and certain sisters from this knowledge that cannot be hid. It's the scriptures. Yahushua said it. He said, "A city that sit on a hill cannot be hid." So that light is permeating. That light is glowing out of the individual, and the people are looking in awe of it. But they're not gonna say anything because you're a stranger to them. They're a stranger to you, but they're gonna look like man, something about this person. Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. You see? And people get that feeling. So let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Titus, because I think we finished here, right? Yep. Let's go to Titus, or like they say in Spanish, Tito. Titus chapter 3, verse 8. It says, "This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm constantly." So these things, see, whenever we do these lessons, this is an affirmation, and it's a constant affirmation. Does not the scripture say, exhort daily? These exhortations are, especially now at the times that we're in, should be bubbling. Should be something that's in constant rotation. That they which have believed in the Most High might be what? Careful to maintain good works. Paying attention to detail. Making sure that the breakdowns are done right. If you go off, go back and correct it. Because when you say something, guarantee if 100 people are watching, some of those are teachers, and they're going to go and repeat what you said. And before you know it, there's the thing is botched, because now everybody's saying the same exact thing that's been going on for years. Like, I'll give you an example. The scripture, which Elder Apostle Tahar brought this out years ago. The scripture in, I believe that's Jeremiah, where it says, I think it's the 16th chapter, where it says, in the day of the Gentiles shall come and say our fathers have inherited lies or something like that, and things wherein there's no profit. Back in the days, we used to teach that was talking about Esau and the other nations saying that they inherited lies. But no, that's talking about Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. That were taught lies, vain things. That's what that's talking about. But it's still floating around, and I'm pretty sure if you listen and you have an Edomite or a heathen come up and say something, the individuals from the One West camp will repeat that. And give me that scripture, Jeremiah, I believe it's Jeremiah 16. And that's not what it's talking about. All right? So that's why we have to be careful to maintain good works. And we do slip up. I've done it. I mean, I can't tell you the countless amount of times that I've said something that was off, and I had to go back and do a video, eat humble pie, look like an asshole, but I had to make it right. So the looking like an asshole part, hey, fuck it. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather look like an asshole to the public, but then look like, be in the good graces of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, these things are good and profitable unto men, which are the Israelite men. Why? Because we have to be careful to maintain good works. Now, when we look up a couple of these words, the word careful, right? That's what? Paying attention to detail. Might be careful. The word there's frontizo, which comes from the other word frone, I believe it is, right? It says to think, to be careful, to be thoughtful. Another precept just came to mind, Barakateh Halba Shemel Shai. I'm going back to that, but let me get this real quick. I don't want to forget it. All right. So let's read that again. To think, to be careful, be thoughtful, or be anxious. When you're anxious, you're pretty much like a nervous wreck. because you don't want to break nothing down wrong. You don't want to go off for fear that the Lord will jack us up for saying or breaking down something wrong. So that's why, these individuals out here, after so many years that the Spirit has had us breaking down the MOTB being the C-hip, they should consider it. Because in breaking something down wrong, what's going to happen is the Lord is going to deal with that individual. So let's look up this word anxious real quick. It says experiencing worry, unease, or nervousness, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. In this case, it's also examining oneself, right? With that unease and nervousness because you don't want to break something down wrong. So it's because the content of what we're reading is being careful to maintain good works, right? So here, when we go to Isaiah 29:9, because it says to think, to be careful, to be thoughtful. So Isaiah 29:9, stay yourselves in what? In the truth, in this knowledge. Yahweh says, search the scriptures, right? And wonder what? Wonder about what you just read. Then once you get the understanding, cry ye out and cry. So let's go to the word wonder. Let's see what this says. The word is thamah. To be astounded, see, be stunned, be amazed, be dumbfounded. To be astonished, to astonish yourself, be astounded, be astonished at one another. In other words, you're wondering in amazement and of this marvelous word, these marvelous secrets that have just been revealed to you. And once you get that marvelous breakdown, right? And then it says, cry ye out and cry, because the thing is, learning, teaching. That is the perfect combination. Learning, with the heart man believeth, and teaching, and with the mouth confession is made unto righteousness. All right? They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. And this is why we have to break it down correctly and give them the proper understanding, because they're walking in the wrong path. They're confident in their drunken, stupefied state of, plantation / Renaissance Christianity or whatever other philosophy they're into or religion they're into. Talking about Jake, So it's our job to set the course right. But we have to have the right, proper understanding, which through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai we do. All right? So let's go back. So let's read this little bit again. It says that they which have believed in the Most High might be careful to maintain good works. So let's look up the word maintain. Careful, right? And then maintain. The word is proistemi, which is a compound word, which is to set or place before, to set over, to be over, to superintend, preside over, right? To superintend. And that's to what? To watch over, to be a protector or guardian. This is why we're known as what? We're known as the defenders of the gospel. To maintain what? Good works. Now, matter of fact, let me see. Should be like before. Yep. And istemi is stand. To stand before. So if you're standing before something, what are you doing in essence? You're guarding it. So this is why we're known as the defenders of this truth. The true defenders, not those fake, phony frauds, vocab and them devils. And I wanted to go back to careful, because when you go to the root word of careful, right, which is the word is phronitzo, you go to phrone. It means the midriff or the diaphragm, the parts of the heart, which is the mind, the faculty of perceiving and judging. See, being careful, analyzing, making sure that it's proper, making sure that it's right. So then you can go ahead and bring it out. But this takes time. It takes devotion. It takes, careful planning, careful thought. And overall, it takes the guidance of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So Let's go from there to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39. And we're just going to read the first verse. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High. Why? Because this man is single. His eye is single. His mind is single. Excuse me. It says, and is occupied in the meditation thereof. Why? Because being occupied in the meditation thereof means that you are being careful. You're wondering. You're spending your time in analyzing these things. These things are not just something that you could just run by and just grab it. You know, like you have when you go to high school, college, and all that. People bullshit. They party and all that, and then at the last moment, they try to cram everything in. This is not a cram session. This is a journey, you know, and it takes time. It takes devotion, you know. It says it takes paying attention to detail. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. See? So he's going to seek it out and be occupied in prophecies. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is on him to devote his time to do the research, to look up certain things. You know? So it says, let's go from there. Matter of fact, I got to keep reading. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men. Right, because these renowned men, the reason why they're renowned and they have a name today is because they devoted their time to learning. They devoted their time to come up under the shackles of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai as prisoners of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to learn these things, to be in those fetters, in that discipline. It says, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. Right. This is why the scriptures speak about skillfully adding. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. And this is why when we speak out there, most people can't get it because their whole mindset is about having fun, having a good time. It's not about, you know, learning to be protected from the times to come. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he have tried the good and the evil among men. All right. So there's more, but this is a bad chapter. So now let's go from there. Let's go to the book of, let me see what this says here. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, same book, chapter 4. And let's see what this says. Let's see. Should I read this one now? You know what? Let me hold off on this. Let me come back to that one. Let's go to Proverbs 5. And like I said, I know some of these scriptures brothers already put it up, and Salaki, I haven't been keeping up with the comment board, so please excuse me. Proverbs 5:1. My son, what? Attend unto my wisdom. Let's see what the word attend is. Quashab. Meaning paying attention. Pay attention to detail. To hear. Be attentive. Heed. Incline of ears. Attend of ears. Hearken. Pay attention. Listen. Till you get the idea. Paying attention to detail. It says, unto what? Wisdom. And bow thine ear to my understanding. Right, because these are the instructions of receiving this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That thou mayest regard discretion, because discretion is needed. Everybody doesn't have discretion. Everybody doesn't know how to conduct themselves. You know, you get individuals that come into this knowledge, they learn, and all of a sudden now, every time they get around Esau, they just start cursing everybody out. You know, I mean, yeah, we all did that when we were young, but after a while you become seasoned. But some individuals never become seasoned. Here it is, a old fool and still doing the same foolishness that they were doing when they were young. They were young fools, then they became middle-aged fools, and they became old fools. And that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Right, this is dealing with the false wisdom. Because you have wisdom on the left-hand side, but all wisdom is not knowledge. It's not profitable. The knowledge of wickedness is not really wisdom. Yeah, there's wisdom. It works to a certain degree, but you're going to run into roadblocks because it's wicked. So let's go from there. Let's go from there, because I didn't really write. I wrote Proverbs 5, but I didn't really write any verses down. Let's try Proverbs 7. And I kind of, seen some brothers put some of these precepts up that we're going to. Let's start at 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Right. So if you have something that is the apple of your eye, you're going to be extremely cautious, and you're going to pay extreme care to it. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the tables of thine heart, because it's going to be in constant meditation. Even when we're doing whatever else we're doing, you're going to always be meditating on this. It says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. Right, to be linked as one. All right. That they may what? Keep thee from the strange woman. And what is a strange woman? The strange woman are these false philosophies out here, false religions. This is why in Revelation 14 it speaks about the 144,000 being virgins, because they were not defiled with women, meaning they were not defiled with these strange philosophies. It's not talking about because this man never had sex. He's a ever virgin. No, I ain't talking about that kind of virgin. It says, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. All right, now let's go from there. Let's see what this says here. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 6 and verse 10, it looks like. It says, for they that keep holiness holily shall be judged holy. Right. And they that have learned such things shall find what to answer. So how do you learn? By reason of leisure. You have to put in time. Wherefore set your affection upon my words. Affection, because we have affections. We have lust, affections, desires. And they have to be channeled in the right direction. It says, desire them, and you shall be what? Instructed. And that's one thing with Jake, man. Jake does not like instruction. It says, wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yeah, because it's not like, and other things fade away. The love of an actual woman will fade away. The helps of people will fade away, and many other things. But the glory of wisdom will never fade away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her. Why? Because they're going to devote their whole heart, mind, and soul to getting her. And found of such as what? Seek her. It says, she preventeth them that desire her, in making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. Right. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her. Why? Because this individual is devoting his time. And he's not neglecting her. He's treating her as if it was the first time they ever met. And this intimate union that's going on mentally, he's as anxious as he was when he first met her. Showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. You know how you have, Becky Sue, she's the one for me. Inside joke. Everything about her, you can't get her off your mind. You're constantly thinking about her and all that. Well, that's how we're supposed to be with wisdom. Same energy. It says, for the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline. Yeah, because in order to really get this, there has to be discipline applied to it. And the care of discipline is love. That's true love. And love is keeping of her laws. And love is the keeping of her laws. And giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption, where you won't go wrong. Just like if you have a woman and you're so devoted to her, but after a while you don't pay her attention like you used to, eventually she's either going to cheat or she's going to leave you. Or that's the same thing with wisdom. Wisdom is a woman. And incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. So the deeper we get into the knowledge, we're going to go through all kind of shit, but the closer we get to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. And this is what we're waiting for. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that you may reign forevermore. And this is what we're waiting for, to be able to reign in the kingdom. So now let's jump to the 8th chapter. These are some heavy chapters, man. 6, 7, and 8. Actually, Wisdom of Solomon is just a deep book. First verse. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly does she order all things. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse. Like you said, damn, man, that chick look good as hell, man. I want to wife that. And I was a lover of her beauty. You fawning like gaping, mouth is gaping wide open. At her beauty. Just like the Apostle John was gaping at America with open mouth. He was admiring her because America represents the other hoe. You have wisdom that represents purity, and then you have America that represents that other hoe. That licentious, adulterous, scumbag hoe. And she has her alluring ways, her feminine wiles. In that she is conversing with the Most High, she magnifieth her nobility. Yeah, because wisdom brings to nobility. It brings to royalty. Because when you look at, a person in that position that has been trained by nobles, they're walking prim and proper. They may not be prim and proper, but there's a certain etiquette, a certain way that you conduct yourself. So that's what wisdom does. It brings us to nobility. Yea, the Lord is of all things himself. The Lord of all things himself loved her. For she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High. Yeah, because the Lord is the one that gives that ability for wisdom to share those things. Because those things that is shared of wisdom comes from the Most High himself, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And a lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? And if prudence work, who of all that are in a more cunning workman than she? Who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? Right. And that is a work of art. When you watch brothers, when they're teaching, this is definitely, that's why Yahweh said, don't worry about what you're going to say. If it is not you that speak, it's the spirit of your Father that speaketh in you. And you see it, and you be in awe sometimes, but we know that it's the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai directing that man's thoughts, his patterns, his words, the ideas that come to his mind. The scripture, everything is just working so perfectly. It's like a great harmony that's going together, that a conductor is putting together with all the different instruments all playing in harmony. Because the Most High is the conductor on high. It says, and if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance, which temperance is discipline. Abstaining from certain things. And that's, temperance. Like temperance is used, the best way to understand temperance is used in the form of athletes that abstain from certain foods and abstain from women, until they accomplish the goal or the mission, which that goal and that mission is what? To get that crown of whatever, sport they're into. And after that, then he can splurge. So once we get the kingdom, then we can splurge. It says, teaches temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. Yeah, because there's nothing more profitable than knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come. Right, because through this, you're able to see certain things. You're able to read spirits. You're able to break certain things down. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches. Right, when somebody's speaking to you, you could say they're saying all the right things, but their spidey sense is like, nah, they're full of shit. And you could also tell, like, when somebody's speaking, yeah, this person is speaking from the heart. And can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders and the events of seasons and times. Therefore I purpose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things and comfort in cares and grief. Yeah, because if we want wisdom to comfort us, then we have to also be comforting to her. It says, for her sake I shall have estimation among the multitude and honor with the elders, though I be young. I shall be found of a quick conceit in judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall bid me abide my leisure. Right. So no, come on, speak. I don't want to speak to my. No, come on, please. It says, where we at? It says, and when I shall speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Moreover, by the means of her, I shall obtain immortality. See? Because wisdom leads to immortality. And leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me. I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me. Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. Here it is, you got these devils that's making all kind of wars, got all kind of power, shaking up the world. But then when it comes to the prophets, they're afraid of the prophets. They won't say it outwardly, but they're afraid of the prophets. And the prophets don't have the military might, the economic might, or the influence that they have, but they know because of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that they get nervous. This is why they're trying everything that they can to get us off of the streets. Because it's a mission. Don't be surprised if 2023 they really push really, really hard and trying to get, these different platforms banned. Free speech banned. Making it a crime to teach the Bible. Hey, these devils are in rare form. It says, I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war. After I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her, for her conversation have no bitterness. And to live with her because you have a woman, you have what they say, whispering sweet nothings. But with wisdom, there's no bitterness. With these women, after a while, it's, oh man, I wish this bitch would just shut the fuck up. Hey, I'm just keeping it real. If you're getting upset, mad, you can change the channel. You can change the channel. And to live with her have no sorrow, but mirth and joy. Yeah, because with an actual woman, you have what? Bitterness. You shall have problem in the flesh. Now, when I considered these things in myself and pondered them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality, and great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches. Yeah, because a good friend is what? Someone that when you down and out, they have good, kind words for you, uplifting words for you. If you're doing bad, they can uplift you. They can, if you need a few dollars, they got it for you. If they have it, you got it. Well, that's wisdom. Wisdom is a good friend, a good ally to have, a good spouse. And in the exercise of conference with her, prudence, and in talking with her, a good report, I went about seeking how to take her to me. All right? So now let's go from there. Let's see what this says. Ecclesiasticus. And I'm getting ready to close it out. Oh, wow. It's already an hour. Man. Wow, wow, wow. Funny how time flies when you're having fun. Ecclesiasticus 27 and 8. See what that says. If thou followest righteousness, thou shalt obtain her. Beautiful. And put her on as a what? Glorious long robe. And it's going to show forth by your fruits, the things that you do and say. The birds will resort unto their like, so will truth return unto them that what? Practice in her. Putting in that work. All right, so let's see what this says here. Ecclesiastes 2 and 16. And it's funny because most of these scriptures are all coming out of the Apocrypha, a lot of them. Ecclesiastes 2 and 16, it says, for there is no remembrance of the wise more than the fool forever. Now as in the days to come shall be forgotten, and how he died, the wise man and fool. Nope, that's not it. Oh, Ecclesiasticus, Salakia. Ecclesiasticus 2 and 16. It says, they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. That's right. Beautiful. Let's try to move a little faster. Let's see. Let's go to the 4th chapter. The 11th and the 12th verse. Wisdom exalteth her children. Right. That's why Yahweh has said, and wisdom is justified of her children, and layeth hold of them that seek her. Right. And what does a mother do? She leads her young. And that's what wisdom does. It leads her young. Wisdom is justified of her children. He that loveth her loveth life, and they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy. Ecclesiasticus, same book. Man, majority of these scriptures are in the Apocrypha. What is that? 37? Yep. 37 and start at 12. And a couple more, and then that's it. Start at 12. Right? It says, but be continually with a godly man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord. Right, mark ye the perfect man, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. And let the counsel of thine own heart stand, for there is no man more faithful unto thee than it. For a man's mind is sometimes wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower. Right, because the Spirit of the Lord works with a man's mind. And above all this, pray to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that he will direct thy way in truth. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 6 and 27, and then one more, and then we'll close it out. It says, search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. Right. Pay attention to details. Show the same fervent love towards her as you did when you first came into the truth. And the last precept I have here on the list is Ecclesiasticus 18 and 14. It says, he hath mercy on them that receive discipline and that diligently seek after his judgments. That's right. That's right. That's right. So pretty much, that's the main point. So pay attention to detail. We'll read this one more time. What is attention to detail? Attention to detail is the ability to focus on all areas of a project or task, no matter how small. People with excellent attention to detail are thorough in reviewing their work As a result, the work is generally more accurate and free of errors. And that's why we say that we have 100% truth, you know? So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.